Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
Hello, all.
What's up, Suzy?
What's up?
What's up, Chris?
What's up, guys?
All right, so I know we got some news, so what's going on?
We got a bunch of news, actually, so I guess we can start off with kind of like the, I don't want to say least interesting news, but kind of the lesser of the few stories here. So I'm going to screen share this picture because I think this is pretty interesting.
Okay.
All right. So this is from, if I can get this, okay. This is from the Skull Island Birth of Kong comic. This is going to be the cover for the 3rd issue. And so here it is.
Oh.
Wow.
So this story, for those of you who haven't been following this story takes place after Kong Skull Island. But they're showing flashbacks of Kong's past, basically.
Okay.
Wow.
So what we're seeing here is those are Kong's parents, obviously. They have been killed most likely by the dominant Skullcrawler.
Yeah.
Before Skull Island.
Okay.
So the skeletons that we see in the graveyard where the Skullcrawler is basically, I guess they inhabit on Skull Island when they're not underneath the island. Those are the 2 Kongs that we see in Skull Island. Those are basically their skeletons. In the middle there is obviously Kong himself as an infant.
Okay.
So that's going to be the 3rd issue of the comic book. That comic is really cool because it's introduced a bunch of new kaiju, and they're all really cool looking. I mean, they've got these things called what are they called? Death jackals.
Right.
They've got this other thing that inhabits this lake on the island. It looks kind of like a cross between an alligator and like a whole forest that it is on its back and stuff, and it's just really creative stuff that they didn't get a chance to put into Skull Island, but
yeah,
they have the chance to put it into this comic, which I think is really cool.
This is canon.
So this is all canon stuff. Yes, okay. They've the interesting thing about that Skull Island comic as well is that from what I know, I haven't really read it myself because I think I'm going to wait for the trade to come out just so I can have all of them there at once.
Okay.
But from what I've been keeping up with, they mention Godzilla. They mention, the main characters are from Monarch. Okay. So, that's all there. But the really interesting thing is that one of the characters has some sort of almost like a psychic flashback. And that's how he sees a lot of this stuff with Kong. Okay. So that's what I'm wondering is if that's kind of like the nod to Mothra.
Right.
Something like that. So yeah, that's basically that. So the bigger story that we got, and this is probably, the biggest story we got over the weekend, again relating to Godzilla 2, has to do with a picture, and I have the picture here, I'll screen share it.
Okay.
It has to do with a picture that was tweeted out by the director of Godzilla 2. This picture is fantastic, and it's I wasn't expecting to see something like this now. So I'm going to screen share this here.
Yeah, I saw that from you posted, right?
Yeah. So what's happening here is this is them filming on set, and this is a render of Godzilla apparently from King of the Monsters, or whatever Godzilla 2 is going to be called.
Is that ice around him, or is that...
Now, this is the thing we have to remember. This is a very early render. This is probably not what he's going to look like in the movie.
This is just a thumbnail idea.
But it looks like there's ice around him or something.
It's the general design for what we're going to probably see for Godzilla.
Oh, so that's just a computer-generated template.
Yeah. Now, if this is what they're sticking with, obviously he won't be blue, but there are some changes here.
He looks like he has his face is more like classic Godzilla kind of.
There are some changes. It looks like they may have just like squared off his jaws a little bit
like
more.
He has personality.
And also he seems to have more teeth this time. Specifically towards the front of his jaw, and his eyes are a bit bigger. So if they're going with this, that's I have no problem with it so far.
We like bigger eyes, yeah.
The big thing about this picture though is this yellow thing here is some sort of helicopter.
Okay, I was wondering about that.
So somebody is flying very close to him. Whether they're doing so on purpose or not, I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see.
I have a reason to think that they are
Now, is that
flying.
supposed to be a view screen with he's squared off? Or is that just
It's probably supposed to be the line of sight of the camera.
That's just... What are you talking about, this here?
Yeah.
That's just the frame for the screen.
Yeah.
That's nothing there. Okay. So I have a reason to think that... I think I may know why this helicopter is flying very close to him. But that will just be speculation. Right? I think they're trying to drop the oxygen destroyer on him.
Down his throat.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Now, what you were saying before, Joe, and a lot of people have been bringing this up, there's a part of this image here, specifically on Godzilla, that doesn't look like it's a part of him.
Yeah, it looks like
I'm talking about this right here.
Looks like he's freezing him.
So basically what a lot of people think is going on here is either this is like a mistake in the image that they're just leaving there, or it's part of the image that they need to have there for this scene, or that this is a piece of debris that he's walking by, and it's just that high on his face.
But why can't it be like they're trying to freeze him or something?
They're not trying to freeze him. We haven't heard anything like that.
Okay.
And they're not. I don't think they're going to use freezer weapons in these movies because that.
But could it be the oxygen destroyer kind of freezes him in place?
No,
or
the
some
oxygen
type of
destroyer.
Shell? Like
the
Shin Gojira, he was like a statue. Remember?
No, the oxygen destroyer doesn't work that way.
Okay.
If it follows what it did in the other movie, and there'd be no reason for it to freeze him because that would be way outside of what the oxygen destroyer would do.
Right. Okay.
So that's a cool picture. I'm hoping that maybe they did update his design a little bit. I really like the 2014 design. It is my favorite Godzilla design. Well, it's my second favorite, really. But I really hope that they do update it a bit because I think it would just make sense. You know, as time goes on, he looks a bit different.
Now, how many days are we in now? Filming.
That was day 69.
Okay.
Of filming. They're apparently done filming. I think in America, I think they've got what they need. I believe they're moving to China next.
Okay.
For whatever they're filming there.
But there's not that much more filming.
Well, you know, like
another
for the
30 days, right?
Yeah, they'll of course have to go back and do reshoots and stuff. But they are getting pretty close. And then I think what they're going to do is all of next year is just going to be them putting the film together, making it work in post-production, and then getting the marketing going probably towards the end of the year.
Yeah, because there was because when I was watching Collider, or whatever the guy's name was, one of the questions was just like, why do they always pick like way off in the future to pick it? Why don't they wait till the movie's done? And the guy explains, well, it had all this big explanation, but you had like the marketing that has to be done, the toy line that if they have anything, and he just went on with all
they
that.
won't know anything unless they know what it looks like. So the moment they know what it looks like, then they can do the toy line based on it.
And they have to
get consent,
do the special effects and stuff too, and that takes months to do.
My concern though is this movie will not be released until 2019, right?
Yes.
So is Godzilla vs. Kong still coming out in 2020?
Yes, because they have two different directors.
Oh, so they have two different teams working on it.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Is this guy sharing anything with that one, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They're basically, you know, I don't think they're sharing a lot of stuff now.
I know.
But the information that, you know, basically I think Adam Wingard has a pretty good idea of what's going to happen in this movie. And basically, all he needs to know is Godzilla going to die and or get hurt? And obviously, Godzilla's not going to die because
I hope he
how
doesn't
do
get
you do
hurt
that?
because I want him at 100% when he fights Kong. You know?
Well, he's not going to be at 100% no matter what. I mean,
Right.
this Godzilla never is, because he's so old.
Right.
But
Unless
I think
Godzilla's
that's
son. But then.
they could
Yeah.
do that, but again, he wouldn't be at 100% because it takes thousands of years for these things to develop, apparently. But there was one other thing that I was kind of hesitant to show on here, but
Why?
I think we have to frame this in the realm of we don't know if this is real. This is pure speculation at this point.
Okay.
This may be fake, but I think it's worth talking about on here. A couple hours ago, this picture leaked online, allegedly. And it's massive spoilers for this film. For Godzilla King of the Monsters or Godzilla 2, whatever it is.
If it's real.
If it's real.
If. This is the big
If.
IF. Capitalized.
So if you don't want to see this, I suggest you stop watching now. It doesn't ruin anything with the story, but it may be the reveal of a monster's design.
All right, let's go.
Potentially.
Are we gonna get flagged from showing this?
A couple other sites have showed it online already.
All right, let's
and
go.
showed it on here. But this picture leaked online a couple hours ago. Allegedly, it leaked. So this is it, right here.
Oh,
Mothra.
well, wait. Well,
Now, potentially, this is the Mothra design for the MonsterVerse. Potentially.
Wow.
Oh no! Really?
I think this is fantastic.
Really?
I do too.
I want this to be the design. I am
love the design of the
100% on board
that
with this.
little design. I don't know if that was meant to be there or not, but I like that design on the wings.
Now,
Yeah.
I want everybody to look in the bottom right corner of this picture.
Yep, I
Oh.
see it.
You see what's there?
That's
Yeah.
wait a minute. Who is that?
This could potentially be one of Ghidorah's heads.
Oh.
Potentially.
So you get two for the price of one, basically.
Now, again, we don't know if this is real. I haven't seen anything to say that this is real, but I haven't seen anything yet to say that this is fake.
I don't know if that's real.
Now, somebody made a very good point about why they think this is real. And I apologize, I don't remember the name. It was a comment that I saw on another site. They said that specific, I guess it's going to be like a figurine or something. Not a figure, but like a small. They made figures almost exactly like that for Godzilla 2014.
Wait, what?
Really?
They made figures in that design for Godzilla 2014. They made small little figures that were basically in the same style as that. Now,
So that's not real then.
No. It is real because they didn't make one for Mothra, and what they're saying is they made them for Godzilla 2014.
But isn't that like a? Could you show that again?
It's basically
I don't know if I
concept art,
should,
so you get an
to be
idea
honest,
of
but-
Why?
for a computer.
I don't know if this video is going to get taken down by having it in here too long. I can
I don't
send
know.
you the picture.
Yeah, I don't
or a link
know.
of the picture.
Yeah, I don't know if that. I mean, it looked like it was on a circular thing, like like you know, remember when the video games they had like each monster in that circular thing?
No. It wasn't on that. It was on a stand.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was on a stand. It was balancing on a black stand. Now they
send it
do
to me
that
on
for
Facebook.
some of the. I will, yeah. Now going back to the design itself, I really like that design because it's definitely updated, but it keeps a lot of the elements of Mothra in the design. Scott made a really good point too when he said the circular patterns on her wings are both on both wings. The shape of her wings is very similar to what Mothra's wings normally look like. The changes really come to what her body looks like and what they've
looks
done.
almost spiderish in appearance if you look at it.
Right.
close.
Well,
What they've done is they've taken the actual design of a real moth and used that, because if you've seen what real moths, anybody who knows what a real moth looks like knows that Mothra looks nothing like a moth in Toho films.
Right.
It's very inaccurate, but it works because she's supposed to be. She's not really a moth, but in the MonsterVerse, she's going to be like a giant moth, like related to a moth. And if you know that, if you know basically like the physiology of a moth, they have long legs like that. They have kind of like fur on their bodies. So that's why I'm okay with it, because they're doing what they did with Godzilla. What they did with the 2014 Godzilla is they took a dinosaur and they said, how do we take these elements but put them into Godzilla's design? They didn't say, how do we take Godzilla's design and put it into a dinosaur, kind of like they did with the 98 movie, which is why he looks like a T-Rex. In the 2014 movie, they took elements of a dinosaur and put it into Godzilla's basic form.
Real world adaptations, in other words.
Right. So that's why he looks very dinosaur-like in the 2014 film and in the MonsterVerse. The same thing with Kong. They took elements of a gorilla and said, how do we make this stand upright and give it a more humanoid-like form?
Right.
Which is why he walks upright. So with this, with Mothra, I'm hoping that that is the design, or that it's something close to that, because I want to see a more insect-like Mothra than what we see in Toho. Now, I like the Toho Mothra, but if you're going to do it for American audiences, that's the way to go with in that that picture I showed. It's different with something like Ghidorah, who doesn't have a real world equivalent. That you can do whatever you want. You could, as long as he has 3 heads and wings, go crazy with Ghidorah. But with Mothra and Rodan, even, Rodan too, I think what they're going to do with Rodan is basically the same thing they did with Godzilla. They're going to take Rodan and say, here's Rodan in Toho, here's an actual pterodactyl or some sort of pterosaur.
Yeah.
How do we take the stuff from the pterosaur and put it into Rodan's form? And that's basically what you're going to get with Rodan. With Ghidorah, it's going to be something completely off the wall, which I'm okay with, because Ghidorah is a off-the-wall concept.
Because it's basically a 3-headed dragon.
Yeah. So I hope that's the design for Mothra. If they get the colors right, I think that would look fantastic. Because she has to have vibrant colors on her.
But isn't because I just looked on something else with that, and they're saying that that's a design for a game called War of Titans, that's not even Mothra, that it's fake. Could that be possible?
It could be, yes, that could be very possible. But the thing is, I've heard explanations like that for a lot of stuff with this movie, and then a couple weeks later, it turns out to be real. So,
okay.
Who knows? I'm not saying that is the design. I'm not saying that that's real. I'm not even saying that that's for Godzilla 2.
Right.
But if that is something close to that, I'm fine with it.
I don't know if I'm fine with it. I have to really look at it. I kind of, looking at it, I don't like the way, I guess, the face, and he's got these little, the way it is, I don't know. I have to think about it. We have to see. I'll be open-minded about it. But
okay. I agree with Chris only because I had a friend that used to do stuff out of resin. That looks like resin to me, and it had to be hand-carved. It takes a lot of hours to do that and to put the detail in it. So like I said, I'm agreeing with Chris on this because the detail matters when you do stuff in resin. So.
Right. Okay. We'll see. We'll find out. I mean, if it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, if I get any updates or anything that say that, this is this, it's not part of Godzilla, I'll say it on here.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But if we don't hear anything for a little while, that may mean something. So who knows?
Now, Chris, when they do that out of resin, if they make a mistake on the design, they have to get more resin and resculpture it. So
Well, that would be based off of the design that they have for the special effect. So the special effect would probably already be set.
okay.
That would just be for some sort of product that they're selling or something. Again, if it's related to the movie. So in my opinion, they definitely know what these monsters are going to look like, especially Godzilla and Mothra, because we know Mothra got that reveal at Comic-Con where
Right.
it was the picture inside the temple, which
Yeah.
looked more like Mothra in Toho. But who knows?
All right. Now, what's going on with being that we'll just keep it with Godzilla here. There was this post that was posted the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody in one of these big sites had said something. I think it's just they made it up, but they said something about them planning a Kong sequel. Now, we didn't hear anything about this. All we know is Godzilla 2, Godzilla versus Kong. That's when the MonsterVerse ends or whatever. Or maybe we think that's when it ends. There has been no type of announcement whatsoever that there's another Kong movie. Now, is that a mistake?
We have not heard that, and they have not made an official announcement about a Kong sequel.
Okay.
As
That's
far
what I
as we
thought.
know, yeah. Up to this point, as far as we know, the MonsterVerse is still ending with Godzilla versus Kong.
Right. So that's that.
Whether
Okay.
or not there's going to be any more, who knows?
I think that was the comic book movie, whatever. They posted something about them starting or planning a Kong sequel or getting ready or something. And I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't hear anything like that. So I'm glad you confirmed it. Okay.
They're definitely not getting ready to do anything with Kong other than Godzilla versus Kong, filming wise and setting up a script and a story and whatnot. Again, they may very well have plans to continue the MonsterVerse past Godzilla versus Kong, but allegedly with what they said at G-Fest and stuff, after Godzilla versus Kong, that's most likely when they're going to put out or start filming Shin Gojira 2,
right.
If they're doing that.
Right.
So that will come out before anything, most likely.
But King Kong or Kong is not Toho's.
Right.
So if they want to continue the MonsterVerse and they can't use Godzilla, they could do, because it made enough money to get a sequel.
Yes.
They could technically, in theory, without jeopardizing the Toho contract, they could technically put out a sequel to, or not necessarily a sequel to Kong Skull Island, but a follow-up of what happened to Kong after.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In theory. All right.
In theory, yes.
Because Toho does not, one more time, right? Toho does not have the rights to King Kong or Kong or whatever kind of combination of Kong they use. It's not Toho's. Okay.
No. Mm-hmm.
All right. And again, we didn't hear crap. I mean, that's just, I didn't hear any confirmation. You didn't either from the company. This other site, it's hogwash for now. Okay. All right. So now we're down to the 2-minute warning. All right. So we're going to get out of here. We're going to create something else. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Suzy. Thank you, Scott. Take care. Bye for now.
Ciao.